What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday. Today's video is a requested video. So a lot of you guys have been commenting on my videos to try this app, and this app is called something weird. It's like Qdomyoszwift, which I'm assuming is supposed to be Qdomyoszwift would be the pronunciation, but I'm honestly not really sure. The first person that commented on this, I thought it was spam because this is such a weird app name. Like, why is it called this? But more of you commented to try this out with my echelon, and I just downloaded it yesterday and played around with it a little bit. But basically, I think that this app is going to elevate your echelon experience so much and get it so much closer to Peloton. So basically, this app connects to your echelon bike instead of the echelon app. So when you would normally open that echelon app, you open this app instead, and it gives you heart rate, cadence, speed, elevation gain, calories, total kilometers, resistance for echelon. Then they translate it to resistance in Peloton in real time, watts, average watts, FTP zone, so you can put in your FTP score and they will tell you what zone you're in at all time, which is super useful for power zone training. I was just on the regular Peloton bike this past month when I was visiting my boyfriend, and that was the one thing I had missed about the Peloton, is that it's kind of hard to do power zone training on the echelon. Like, you can, but it's just not the same. But this brings it a lot closer to being like on the actual bike. It also stores heart rate, kilojoules, time elapsed, and just the normal time. So it has all of this information, which is really great. And honestly, for that, I'm not completely sold. Like, it's really nice that it converts to Peloton resistance, but I can do that in my own head. But it is nice to just have those numbers and not have to think about it all the time. But what I think the really cool thing about this app is it has all this information, and at least with an iPad, and I would assume it'd be true for a computer too, is you can then connect the phone that is connected to the bike to your Peloton class. And while your Peloton class is going, it can show the heart rate and the cadence in the Peloton app, which is just crazy to me. I have no clue how this works. And then that saves to your Peloton rides when you take it. Another big thing for me is that it can connect my Apple Watch to my phone, to my iPad, and then save it in the Peloton app. And before that, I just didn't have that kind of information at all. There was really nothing I could do to put my heart rate information in my iPad. So I'm really, really happy for that connection too. I'm now going to show you a short video of how I connected it because I feel like a lot of people will have questions on how this app works. So let's just go and look at that video. First, I open the app on my watch and hit the start button to start recording my heart rate. Then I turn on my bike and open the app, and it connects automatically to my bike, no setup necessary. Finally, I open the Peloton class I want to take on the iPad and hit the middle button on the right side. There you have the option to connect to a heart rate sensor and a cadence sensor, and by hitting each option, it shows my phone is ready to connect. So I just click on that, and then you can see that they show up in the ride when I start pedaling. So I set this all up yesterday, but I haven't actually done any rides with it. I wanted to save that and give you any final thoughts I had after I did my first ride with this app, but I'm really excited. I feel like there's a lot of potential, and I just think that this is a super cool app, and I'm surprised that it's not talked about more because it does make the echelon experience so much closer to the Peloton. And I know I have the cheapest echelon bike, so I have the sport bike, or the X15. It goes by many names, and that runs around $500. But if you have a more expensive one like the X3 or X5, I believe that this app supports auto resistance. So the same feature that's on the Bike Plus, like when the Peloton instructor calls out a resistance, that it automatically adjusts your bike for you, which that just completely blows my mind. I feel like it's taking the things that make Peloton unique and making them accessible to people that don't have the Peloton equipment. But this still isn't a full app. Like, it doesn't load your resistance into the Peloton app, so you don't have output. It's not exactly the same as riding the Peloton, but it's getting pretty darn close with this app. So I think that that is very, very exciting. It's also crazy to me that it's a one-time payment of $4 and then you never have to pay again. I just feel like everything is a a subscription these days, so I'm surprised that this one isn't, but I'm really happy that this one isn't. This is a very cheap and affordable option to kind of just upgrade your everyday biking experience. And at the end of your ride, you can export to Strava, which I don't currently use Strava, but now I'm thinking about using it so that I can actually track these rides better. I'm not in love with just the regular Echelon app. I don't think that is very good. And then Apple Fitness is fine, except it's kind of hard to track your progress over time. And I'd really love to see how many miles I ride every month. That would be like a really big motivating goal for me. That's something I like on the Peloton. So I'd love if I could have that option in Strava. So definitely going to export to Strava, and then it just also exports to your regular Apple Health, which I appreciate. And then finally, there's also a Facebook group that is very active to answer any of your questions. So I just feel like this app has a lot of good support, and the guy who made the app is like in the Facebook group. It is just really easy to get using. It didn't take me a long time to set up, and I'm really excited to start saving the cadence and heart rate information in the app. I think my heart rate has risen recently. This is like random, but I feel like I've been burning more calories than normal. So I'd be interested to see like what my heart rate zones are during the ride. Honestly, when I'm even on the real Peloton, connecting the Apple Watch to the normal Peloton bike, I think it is different for the Bike Plus, but the normal bike is such a pain. Like you have to go through a third-party app and it like doesn't work a lot of the times. They'll disconnect in the middle of the ride. So honestly, I've just given up. So I'm really excited to have that heart rate information for my cycling within Peloton again. So I'm going to go try out some rides now and give you my final thoughts. My two big questions remaining are, is the calorie counter good? There is calories, but I'm curious to see like what it says I'll burn. Is it going to be the same as like Apple Health, or is it going to be the same as Peloton? I feel like everybody tells me something different, so I'm interested to just see like what it says I burn during this class. And then the second question is, do I need to reconnect my phone to my iPad every time? It seems like once you're in a session you don't, but I just did it yesterday and I'm wondering if it'll like reconnect automatically, because that would make it really easy. But if I have to reconnect it manually every day, it's not that bad. It seems like class to class, it'll still remain. So if I finish one class and start another one, it'll still be up. But I'm interested to see if it can reconnect from yesterday, because that would just make it a very good experience. Today is Friday and I'm just going to treat myself by taking all Ben Aldis rides. I feel like I've been taking kind of a wider range of instructors lately, so it's just nice to go back to basics. My comfort rider, Ben. So I'm going to be taking 3 rides from him actually. I'm going to be taking his 20-minute hit ride from May 2nd, 2021, then his 20-minute 2000s ride from May 5th, 2021, and then his 20-minute pop ride from May 5th, 2021. He's been teaching a lot of 20-minute classes lately, so interested to see how these go. I know that I'll love them, and I'm excited to try out this new app. So let's just get right on into riding. I just finished my rides and I have a couple of thoughts. First off, I don't think that the conversion to Peloton resistance is that accurate. I do think that there's a way to offset it because there are a lot of settings, so I'm going to have to look through it. But my bike is an Echelon X Sport. It can go up to 32 resistance, and usually I divide by 2 in the classes, which I think might be a little bit harder. So if it's like 40 to 60, then that is 20 to 30 on my bike. But I think dividing by 3 is too easy. It seems like the Peloton resistance conversion on this app kind of like has some special formula that's somewhere between 2 and 3. When I'm going hard out of the saddle, I can usually do 29 or 30 resistance on my bike at around 60 to 70 cadence. And this app converted that to 75 to 80 on the actual Peloton, which I cannot do. I'd say on the actual Peloton, 65 is pretty much my maximum. And I was just on the Peloton like a week ago. So I feel like this is very fresh in my mind. So I'm definitely going to look and see if there's a way I can make the Peloton resistance convert to higher, because I think right now it is converting like too low, and then you're not doing the ride as hard as it should be, which at the end of the day isn't really a big issue. You just go at the higher end of their ranges then, but I like mine to be more exact, and I think they do have the functionality, so I'm definitely going to look into it. The other thing is you didn't have to reconnect. It was really nice. I just turned my iPad on, turned my phone on, connected to the bike, and then everything was already connected. I didn't think the calories were super accurate on the app itself. It said I burned around 720 calories, and my Apple Watch said I burned like 580. So I don't really care as long as it seems to be still recording correctly on my Apple Watch. I didn't start an indoor cycle exercise on my Apple Watch is what I usually do. So I'm surprised that the Apple Watch could like still calculate the calories correctly, because all I had was the Apple Watch Qdomyoszwift app on my watch up. So I'm glad that the calories are still counted correctly, because I want to know like actually accurate, and I trust the Apple Watch. I think that it's supposed to be accurate. And then finally, on the last ride before my cool down ride, it must have been like 3 or 4 minutes at the end of the ride. Basically on the Apple Watch, you push stop and start to track your heart rate, and I must have accidentally hit stop. Like, I don't know if sweat landed on my watch or I just like bumped it. So then it showed me at like a 174 heart rate, which I didn't realize while I was doing the actual ride that that was wrong until I was in the cool down. And I'm like, how is my heart rate still 174? Because it still shows that that is your heart rate. And then I looked at my watch and I saw that I needed to restart it. So I definitely think that's my fault. Like, I could have not done that, but it's something that I need to be more aware of while I'm riding, and just kind of glance at it every once in a while. Again, it's not the end of the world. I still like having all that heart rate data, but it was messed up for like 5 minutes, but then I just realized I fixed it and it was no big deal. But besides that, I really, really loved it. Love the cadence, love the heart rate data, and I'm really excited to continue using this app. I'd say the one thing, I'm not sure if you can do this. If you have this app, let me know. I'd love to move around the boxes. Basically, there's boxes of all the different information or data you get about your ride. And I'd love the echelon resistance and the Peloton resistance and the Peloton cadence and the FTP zone to all be in one row, because those are kind of the 4 big things that I care about. So they're like scattered right now. It feels like I should be able to like move them around, but I couldn't figure out how. So if you know that is a feature, please let me know how to do that. That's it for this video. I really enjoyed this app. Thank you for the recommendation telling me to download it. I had really never seen a lot of people talk about this. I think that it's a super great app if you're an app rider to just get one step closer to that Peloton experience without the Peloton price. Let me know if you have this app or if you have any other Peloton hacks, because apparently I'm not the expert. There's a lot for me to still learn. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!